Y'all, welcome to 2026. 2025 is done. So, why don't we go through everything that I knit and crocheted from my Handspun last year? In the year of 2025, I completed 14 Handspun projects, and we're going to go through them today. So, we're going to do some stats off the top. Let's start with that. Of the 14 things I made, 12 of them were knit and 2 of them were crocheted. And from what it looks like, I have my screen pulled up over here with all the spreadsheet and the stats and everything like that. So it looks like that Sport, DK, and Worsted were tied for my most used, which makes sense because most of what I spend tends to be in that Sport to Worsted kind of range. So about par for the course. The numbers are a little bit off because of a little spoiler, Ragdoll Cynthia here. So I have her listed as a sport weight because that's what the body yarn is, which weirdly enough is the only not hand spun thing on her. So we have some like bulky, super bulky for the hair. We've got a light fingering for the leg warmers and skirt, and then we've got like probably a sport DK for this top here. So numbers are a little funny, but I'm still gonna say that it's about a sport, DK, and worsted were my top most used hand spun yarns in 2025. And then for most used needle or hook size, we are tied at 2.75 and 3.5 millimeter for that. So let's dive into it. Of the 14, 4 of them have either been gifted or sold, so I don't have them here with me. If I have a picture, then I'll put a picture up of the item. So starting off, let's start off with is this my only? Oh, I have two bulky weight items. Okay, so this is one of 2 bulky weight knits that I did. This is the Perfect Sense wrap, is what it's called. It's like the top part of a sweater. That's it. And it's got these, like, I would say bracelet length. Let's get rid of this watch because it doesn't match the aesthetic. Almost bracelet length. It shrunk up a bit in the wash. But yeah, it's got kind of this funnel neck. It stops here. And let's see if we can see. It rides up a bit in the back. If I had to do this over again, which I would love to make another one, I want to make it a bit longer. And I think I might do more short rows. I can't remember if I did short rows in this one. I don't think I did. I'd like to incorporate some short rows in the back so that it doesn't ride up so much and so it looks even. This was made with Baby Doll Southdown, of course, a bulky weight, 2-ply, good old Jimmy Buffett, Baby Doll Southdown. Very springy. It's pretty warm, but I'm not overheating in it, even though it's bulky weight. And I think it's because it is a woolen spun yarn. And so it is a bit more lightweight. You'd think it would be super warm, but maybe it's because I have this thin shirt on under it. I feel perfectly fine wearing this. It's keeping this top strip of me warm. So I like it. I haven't worn it out of the house. I haven't really worn it except to show it off. So I would like to style it and wear it more because it's comfortable. The neck part does bother me a little bit, and I feel like, so as you can see, I'm just sitting here and this part is riding up. So, things to fix in the next version of this, but this is fun. This is cute. I like it. So that's the first one. Number 2 is Ragdoll Cynthia. I talk about her more in the episode after I finished her. So this is some hand spun. It's like an art yarn, Romney. The dark one is Romney, and that's just a single of like fingering weight, just straight spun. And then I did like a thick and thin of this orange and yellow Romney with some sparkle in it, and then plied it with that to make this really fun looking art yarn for her hair. And then we have this for her sweater is Dorset, and it's just a basic little moss stitch crop top sort of thing, probably like a sport weight. And then the skirt and the leggings are BFL from a sheep we used to have. And I dyed it myself. So this is a single, like a light fingering weight single that I knit up for those. And so that is her. That is Ragdoll Cynthia. I love her a lot. And this is not in the order which they were made. We're just breaking it up in categories. So the only sweater that I made in 2025, or sweater type thing that I made, that was the only stuffy that I made out of Handspun. And then now we're going to move into socks. So we have, for one of them, we have the Gnoming Around socks. Let's see, can you see that there? Yeah. So we've got, the main body is Baby Doll South Down, 1-ply Baby Doll South Down, 1-ply of Romney, which is one of my favorite sock blends these days. This blue-green color that we have for the heel and that we have striping in here is not Handspun. It is recycled from a sweater that I found at Goodwill. And then the red is also from a different sweater that I got from Goodwill. The gray for the nose and the beard is an alpaca merino blend. And I think it was just a single, and I held it with a strand of lace weight mohair to like give it some strength and some body, since it was just a single ply of alpaca merino that I hadn't plied on itself or plied with anything yet. I just liked the color, and so I grabbed it, paired it with a lace weight mohair, and used it for this. And then the body, again, is the same color as the heel. Same thing. And then the black is some black, a single strand of black alpaca that I had spun up by itself. So it's 100% alpaca. And then I held 2 strands of that together to kind of give it some strength. So I should have plied it first probably and then knit it in, but it was, I got to this point and I was like, oh, I need something black and I want it to be hand spun, and this is all I had. So yeah, two single plies of it held together and knit for these little, for the little boots. So yeah, that's for my husband. Some cute little socks. Love those. You can see it's got some, can you see the gold flecks in there? It's got a little bit of sari silk just because why not? So those are the Gnoming Around socks. This is my second pair of hand spun hand knit socks I've made for my husband, and I have not made any hand spun hand knit socks for me out of the Baby Doll Romney mix. So it is on the list. I have the yarn. It is on the list for this year to make myself some fun matching socks. Maybe not gnomes, but some socks for myself out of that yarn. So there are the Gnoming Around socks. Next we have, okay, I made some sunflower granina socks. I don't have any pictures of those. That was with a fin. It was like an off-white kind of shiny fin, and it was just a single ply, about lace weight light fingering, and I paired it with a white lace weight mohair, held those together, and made some sunflower socks for my friend and gave them to her for her birthday. So I don't have any pictures of that. So we'll move on to the next one. The Casual Lace Dorset socks. This was from the 52 Weeks of Socks. And I was doing it with the 52... It's from the book 52 Weeks of Socks. And then I made it along with the group on Ravelry 52 Months of Socks. It's got a nice lace pattern. It's made out of 100% Dorset wool from a nice guy up in New York who raises Dorset sheep. So not a lot to say there. It's got pretty lace, you can see. They're knee highs. A lot of fun. Yeah, not a whole lot interesting about those except for cool pattern. What else do we have? Then we have some Cheviot socks. This is made out of 100% Cheviot. The fun thing about these is the, so there's striping, and the purpley part, the purpley stripes are from some roving that I got, already like dyed. I think it was called like Cheshire Cat or something like that. And so I spun that up as a 2-ply, I think. And it's like a, yeah, it's a DK weight. And then I had a Cheviot fleece that I had bought from somebody. So I carded up that, dyed it this pink color. So like the contrast color, you can see there's like a color gradient of the like pinky purple one. And then tried to make it the same thickness as the roving that I had gotten and knit them up together. So it's 100% Cheviot, but two different sheep, two different sources of Cheviot, and two different preparations. So really happy with how smooth it turned out for being, one was a roving, one was from bats. And like, yeah, that I was able to get the same thickness is really cool. So these are very, very thick socks. Very sturdy. They're not soft. Cheviot is not soft in my experience. I don't know if I've just gotten weird Cheviot, but I don't think Cheviot as a breed is a soft breed. They have held up very well. I put these through the wash. I try to hang them to dry, but they have been through the dryer. So they are slightly kind of felty a little bit. Not as much as I would have expected, surprisingly. So yeah, they've held up really well. I've worn them a few times already, like as house socks and then in like my big boots, because I like to buy my boots like a half size up so that I can wear these thick socks with them in the winter. And yeah, they've held up really well. So I'm impressed with these. No holes so far. What do we have next? Okay, so next we have the shawl section. I have two shawls. One of them is already sold, so I'll put a picture here. It is the Humblebee shawl, and it's made out of 100% Shetland wool that I spun from a sheep from a lady who lives locally. She lives about 10 miles from me. So, really pretty. Love it. Glad it got to go to a good home. Cute little bees. The next one is the self-fringing shawl. So this is based off of the self-fringing pattern, which is a, why is my nose so itchy? Which is a like regular shawl pattern. It's not like a cowl shawl. So it's just like a side to side. You start off with little stitches, you increase till you get to the middle, and then you decrease to get to there. I did not have enough yarn to make a good sized shawl wrap to go around as much as I wanted it to. So I ended up in the back here, I overlapped it, and then yeah, you can see the overlap there. From here to here is overlapped. You can see the inside. And then I picked up stitches in the round and did some rows of knit, some rows of purl, kind of a gartery type of thing, but not quite. And so it makes just a little bit of a, so yeah, doing the side to side from the self-fringing shawl, and then it was inspired by the, can't remember the name of the cowl shawl that I have the pattern for, that I'll put the name here. For the final shape of it. It obviously doesn't have the hood of that pattern, but it has like the beginnings of it until I ran out of yarn. I literally just kept going until I ran out of yarn, bound off. So I really like it. I like the fringe part to it. Yeah, it's kind of loose. Almost kind of westerny feeling. It's definitely a bulky weight. And it's just white wool with a bunch of sari silk in it. So, really fun. I like it a lot. I need to put it in my rotation so that I actually wear it. Oh, and another change that I made was I did moss stitch instead of the stockinette stitch because I didn't like the rolling at the edges of the original pattern. So, yeah, moss stitch going on. Very, very cool. What do we have next? The Funfetti scarf. This one, fun fact, is my longest whip of all of my things finished in 2025. I started this right after the pattern came out. I bought the pattern and cast this on. It was a work in progress. From the day I cast it on to the day I finally finished it was 777 days. So, we are glad to be getting works in progress out of the works in progress pile and put them in the finished pile. This is, now I'm calling it Handspun because it uses Handspun, but it's not 100% Handspun. This gray yarn here is a boucle type yarn that I recycled from a sweater from Goodwill. So it is recycled yarn and the fun colored bits are all Handspun. So it is all the same yarn. I think it is, I'm pretty sure it's all East Frisian yarn. Look at that. And it's got fringe on one side and not the other because we like a little bit of asymmetry going on. So yes, all either Dorset or East Frisian, and then hand dyed by me in all of these different colors to use in this. And so what happened with this one, I talk about it in one of my videos, but so I started it, I was super excited, I was doing the intarsia, and I worked it up and worked it up and worked it up, and I got almost to the halfway point. I think I got to like about here, probably. And that's where I stopped. That's where I put it down for a couple of years. And then I was going through my works in progress last year and getting rid of what I didn't want and, you know, saying I was going to finish up what I did want. And I'm like, I'm just sick and tired of the intarsia. You know, I'm not having fun anymore with these little blocks. It's just not doing it for me like it was when I first saw the pattern. And so I had the wild idea, a little bit inspired by his other shawl, the field shawl, that's like a half and half striped. And so it's got like the main color with little thin stripes of the contrast color. And then at the halfway point, you swap them. And it's the contrast color in the back with thin little stripes of the main color. And so I was a little bit inspired by that to, once I got to the halfway point, go over and start doing stripes with all of the colors. And then because it's just one garter stripe, so one row up, one row down, so it starts and ends at the same spot, why not turn it into fringe instead of having to weave in all those ends? So, excuse me. Oh, look at that. And like, it's not for everybody, I know that. But like having the fringe on one side and not the other, I don't know, it's just fun to me. Now, what could be kind of fun, I really don't have, I kind of wish there were more blocks on the edge. There's like one here and then like a couple of here. Yeah. It would be fun to go and do fringe, like however many rows, and do like fringe in that matching color. But there's not enough of them on the edge for that to be quite feasible. Who knows? Maybe I will, just so there is a little bit of fringe on this side to match some of the fringe on this side. But I love the colors of this. I love how it looks. As soon as I finished it, I was like, okay, now I want to make another one. Because I look at it on camera. Like, I don't know. Something about it. It's just so much fun. This is fun too. Like having the little stripes of, and then having both. Like, I can't hold it up. Man. Yeah, it's just, it is a fun looking shawl. So there's that one. Most of it is recycled yarn from, that I harvested from a sweater, and like, it's just, I think it's like a cotton, elastic something, because it's boucle, like cotton acrylic, but it's, yeah, it's so bouncy. I love that one. I'm so glad I finally finished it and I can wear it this winter. What do we have next? Okay, the next one, I have a couple of Harlow flip hats by Andrea Mowry. One of them I can't find. I think I might have given it away for Christmas. I think I have a picture of it, so I'll put it here. It was made with some local wool, so it was mill spun. I didn't spin it. They spun it and they dyed it, and it was gifted to me by my sister, and so I used that with some hand spun something. I don't even remember what's in it now, but the contrast color is hand spun, and yeah, I don't have much more to say about that. So we'll move on to the CVM hand spun. This is one of my earliest spins. This was back before I had my electric wheel. All I had was my antique wheel, and I spun up some bobbins of CVM, a 2-ply. I had this fleece that was a variegated fleece, and so it has like this darker color, and it has the lighter color. And so I used 2 colors. So I like separated out the colors and spun them up, you know, separately, a 2-ply. CVM is so soft. It stands for California Variegated Mutant. It's 2 colors from the same fleece. Super, super soft. CVM, one of the softest fibers I have ever spun in my life. I love this stuff. It is a little bit tight on me, and I have a small head, so it would be fine for me or for a child. Not really for a regular adult head. This is kind of the year that I discovered that I've been making my hats too small, and that I really need to size them up if they're going to fit a normal person's head, much less all of the men in my life, all of my friends, my husband. Everybody seems to have like a 24-inch circumference head, an abnormally large head. So like, I need to make bigger hats. But yeah, this is pretty. I love that it's reversible. It's got the brim that folds up. It's cute. Good times. Love it. And then we have, what's next? I also made a bolt and pass hat. I don't think I have any pictures of that. What did I make it with? I feel like it was probably baby doll something. I either gave it away or sold it. I think I gave it away to somebody, and I don't have any pictures of it, so forget that one. Whatever. It still counts towards the 14 because I made it, but whatever. Next, the last of our hats. This is one I made for my husband for Christmas this year. So just a few weeks ago. This is the goblin hat. We joke about goblins a lot. I am very much into, I love the look of goblin core style, which is very like browns and greens and trinkets and layers and just everything. Just goblin. Just exactly what you think of when you think of goblin core aesthetic. That's probably what it is. So there's a pattern on Ravelry, but you can't get the pattern. It's like discontinued, I think. But it's a very basic stripy hat. And so you may notice this matches, for those of you who are sharp and paying attention, this green color matches the heels on his socks. I gave both of these to him for Christmas. as a somewhat matchy sort of thing. We've got gnomes and we got goblins. So we have, it is, let me undo it. I love the design of this. Like, what a cool idea. So I have the notes in my Ravelry. This is Handspun Dorset in probably like a DK. What are we going to say? Yeah, like a DK. And then, yeah, this is about a DK. And it's like a bluey green sort of color changing. Single ply, actually. The green and blue is. And so I just alternate, I think it was 9 stripes of brown and 8 stripes of the blue-green until you get to here. And then you just, on 2 sides, you decrease every single round. So it's kind of like a toe on a sock. And so you do like a knit 2 together and then knit 2 and then a slip slip knit. So you've got this sort of thing going on. Every single row to give you that really sharp this. And then when we ended up with so many stitches, I don't remember. Split them in half, did a little I-cord, Kitchener stitched it together to graft it together, made this little loop. And then on the back of the hat, we have this little toggle. So you button it up and toggle it. And I made this hat way too tall. I should have taken out a couple of stripes, but it is what it is. It looks funny. So yeah, there's the back. Let me put it on. Of course, it's made for his ginormous head, so it's going to look ridiculous on me. But is that not the cutest hat? I'm making a version for myself right now. Spoilers. I'm making my own goblin hat that's also stripy, and it's going to have a little toggle in the back. And it is such a cute style of hat because I don't like hats that are, where did I even put that hat? I will not wear a hat. I probably need to give this to someone. It is too tight fitting on my head. It does not feel good. And it feels like it's going to boom right off of my head. So yeah, it needs to be bigger. It's so beautiful though that I don't want to take it out. I just need to find somebody with a tinier head than me or somebody who likes tight fitting beanies, something. But this, just this oversized, like you almost don't even feel it kind of hat. Like it's on your head and it's keeping your ears warm, but it's not squeezing your head. I can actually wear hats. All these years of me making hats that are too small and being like, yeah, I don't like hats because I don't like how they squeeze my head. They don't have to squeeze my head. I can make them bigger. I'm 30-some years old and it took me until this 2025 to figure that out, that I could just make my hats bigger. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Oh, man. So, yeah, he wears it sometimes. Sometimes when he's just on his computer, he'll just throw this on and then put his headphones on over it. It's a very silly hat. It's like a piratey, goblin-y. Can recommend. I'm going to make more of these this year. I'm currently making another one, and I'm probably going to make more. They're hilarious. I love them so much. They're ridiculous. So, what do we have? The last thing we have is one of my earliest projects of 2025, actually. So it's funny that it's last, but it is the only one in the dress category. I don't need to be, well, maybe if I scoot back. This is the Wasteland dress by Whimsy Row. It has everything in it. And I used every last scrap. You better not turn off. Every last scrap of yarn that I spun for this in this project. So, we are not going to be able to see without me standing up. Excuse me. Okay, so we have got this top part here. This is the face mask. It goes on here. And then we've got this hood part. It is either a cowl, that's not working for me. It's either a cowl type thing that goes down over your shoulders, or it can go up as a hood over your head. And so you can have like the face mask and the hood up, or you can pull the face mask down and it's like a turtleneck. and you can still have the hood up, or you can put the hood down. It comes across like a cowl mini poncho sort of thing. And then let's get that out of the way. Then we've got, this is the top part. So we got armholes here. We got the waist. It like comes in a little bit like a corset here. It has little like corset lacing up both sides. So it's adjustable. And then it's got the skirt part with like a meshy. So it's got some lace here to cover up, you know, your bits and whatever. And then once it gets past that part, it's just all like mesh sort of stuff. And then here's the ties over here. So yeah, a whole dress. I used up the last scraps of it to make like these little tassels around the edges of the hood, the cowl part. And yeah, that's everything. Literally the final little scraps of it went into these little tassels. And that's it. There's nothing left of this yarn. So yeah, this yarn is Romney. Is it just Romney? Romney Dorset, I'm pretty sure. It's been so long since I made it. I'm pretty sure it is a blend of Romney and Dorset. And then a ply of that, and then it is plied together with a light green mohair. Like lace weight mohair. And it was a strand of each. So what are you talking about? What do you mean it's a different time of day and I'm wearing different clothes and it's probably an entirely different day because my phone died? That's ridiculous. Get a load of this guy. Anyways, so that is all of my projects, my hand-spun projects from 2025. So now that we're done with that, let's take a moment to reflect on some lessons learned from 2025. At the end of 2024, beginning of 2025, so I'll count it as 2025, I learned how I was experimenting with a type of art yarn with these guys. So doing like a core spun, coiled type of yarn with Romney, sparkly kind of stuff. So that was something new that I played around with in, I'm going to count it as in 2025. And then in the past few months, I learned about natural dyeing. This one that I talked about in a previous video that I dyed with marigold. And I learned how to properly dye with natural dyes using a mordant like alum to pretty much you soak it in the mordant to prepare the fibers and like open them up and get them ready to capture the most amount of the natural dye as possible, because natural dyes are not as strong, generally speaking, as acid chemical type dyes. So you kind of have to do some special stuff with them. So soaking it in the mordanted water first and then moving it to the dye bath of the natural dye really helped it soak up all that color. So that was fun to learn this year. So those are kind of the big things I learned with Handspun. I didn't do much else with like different types of spinning plying. I spun a lot of my comfortable, classic, just what feels good kind of yarn. So let's move on and talk about some goals for 2026. Specifically for Handspun goals, I want to make more Handspun, obviously. I'd like to get my shop up and going, the Alchemist Knits Etsy shop. I have some stuff in there, and I just uploaded some yarn today. I put some listings in for some Shetland wool that I spun, but I'd like to get that up and going and have hand-spun, hand-knit items, just hand-spun yarn, and really kind of fill where, because we've had a lot of mills closed down in the past few years, kind of fill in that niche of like hand spun yarn, because a lot of people seem to be going that direction and wanting to explore hand spun yarn more. So that's one of the big goals, is to get that really going. I'd like to finally make myself a pair of hand spun socks out of this Baby Doll Romney yarn. Yeah, because I made 2 pairs for my husband out of the Baby Doll Romney, and I haven't made any for myself. So I would love to make myself some out of that finally. I'd like to explore single ply yarns more, like bulky weight single plies or fingering weight single plies, both of those. And like with the fingering weight, pairing the single ply with a strand of mohair. I really liked, I did some knits this year with like a sport weight held with a mohair, and I really like how it turned out. I like how you can do larger needle sizes and make it drapey without it being see-through because of the mohair kind of like creating this opaqueness to it. Really, really liked that. So I'd love to explore more with that, of like a fingering single ply of hand spun held with some mohair, and then like bulky weight single ply. And honestly, this is going to be a little bit difficult, making a consistent single ply bulky weight yarn without it being real big, thick, and thin. I think that's going to be one of my big goals this year. And also, spinning a single ply as the finished product has a different amount of twist in it. So when you're going to ply yarns together, then you want to add more twist, because you're going to add extra twist to it, and then when you ply it on itself, you're undoing that twist. When you're doing just a single ply, that's it. You're not plying it on anything or plying it back on itself, so you need less twist in it, but you also don't want it to fall apart. So that's going to be one of my focuses this year, is single ply yarns. What else do we have? Oh, making matching sets. So I've realized that I like the idea of having, when it's really cold out, I like the idea of having a matching set of a hat, either a scarf or a shawl, like a triangle wrap scarf type of thing, gloves, and maybe either socks or leg warmers, because I just got into wearing like platform style boots. So the heel on them is going to be thicker. And so having some leg warmers to match the rest of the style would be a lot of fun. I'm actually working on a set right now out of Handspun, and I want to make more sets. Hopefully I'll wear them. I think I will, because when I'm going out of the house, then I'm kind of scrambling to find things that'll match my outfit and match each other, and I can't find a hat that matches, so I just won't go with a hat and I'll just go with a scarf. I would just rather have a full matching set that looks put together, and I can just grab all the pieces and bada bing, bada boom. So those are my big goals for Handspun. I have some goals for just general 2026 goals that aren't specifically Handspun, but just in general. And that is to catch up on my Ravelry project page, catch up with uploading pictures, taking pictures of my finished objects and uploading them, because I link them here in my YouTube videos, and it would be nice if there's a picture with it when people go to look at it. I've kind of fallen off on that since I started my YouTube, because I'm like, oh, well, I'm showing it to you guys here so you can see it. Why do I need it there? But I like having the pictures up on Ravelry, because it's nice when you go into somebody's project page and you see that there's a bunch of pictures and it's not a bunch of blank projects. So catching up on that. I also want to work through my pattern library, because I have a lot of patterns that I have bought or that I have added to my library that I haven't made yet from the past few years. Like, I've had people buy me for like Christmas or birthday presents, they'll buy me patterns on Ravelry. And there's some of them that I haven't made yet. So I'd like to go ahead and work through, probably not all of them, because there's it's a big list, but start working through them at least, and using, especially if they're paid patterns. Like, not to say that paid patterns are better than free patterns or more important, but like, if you've paid money for a pattern, why are you not using it? So there's that. And then I would like to finish up some works in progress. I brought 5 works in progress with me into the new year from 2025. So I want to wrap those up. There's a few from 2024. I don't know if I have any from 2023. And then there's a couple from 2022. So finishing up all the works in progress. I just want to get, I have this basket here of works in progress, a laundry basket full of works in progress. I just want to get done with them this year. Either frog them, finish them, whatever. Just get them done. Then I would also like to make more fingering weight tops, because I've realized that as fun as bulky things are, like this is probably a sport DK, so it's pretty lightweight. I being a both taller, I'm about 5'8", and a slightly larger person, especially bust-wise, it's harder for bulky things like worsted weight and up not to make me look bigger than I already am. And I like the feel of fingering weight tops. I've made a couple already, and I just really like how they feel on me. They feel more sweatshirty. They feel like drapier and looser, not as heavy, not as dense or stiff. I just like the way they feel. So I'd like to focus a bit more on those types of patterns this year. Socks, I would like to make, this past year I made, I think, how many did I make? Like 12 pairs of socks, probably, which is great. That's like 1 a month. That's really good. So for this year, I would like to make 10 pairs of socks for me. This is going to be a challenge because I don't make a lot of socks for me. I make them for my husband because it's one of the knitted things I make that he'll actually wear. I make them for my mom. I make some for her for Christmas every year. And I make a couple for me, but I want to make ones that fit well. I do have a problem. I have a high instep, and maybe I just need to go like up half a size, because a 64 stitch sock feels, it's hard to get it over my heel and kind of feels very fitted, but a like 72 stitch sock is too big. That's like what I use for my husband generally. So I think I might need to do like a 68 stitch maybe, and look into some options for heels that make it easier to get the heel over my foot, because I usually do a heel flap and gusset, which is good for high arches, but it's still hard to get over my heel sometimes. So that's another thing I want to figure out, is what is my perfect go-to sock that fits my foot, that's easy to get on, that's comfortable to wear, and isn't like slouchy falling down. So that'll be, 10 socks for me, and then making them for my husband, making them for my mom, making them for friends on top of that. So that'll be quite the challenge. And then the last one is to have to-go projects on hand. So like if we're going over to somebody's house and we're just going to be like watching a movie or hanging out, having an easy project to work on that's not color work, that's not cables, that's not complicated yoke work or heel turning of a sock, something that is mindless. Or like if we're going to go out and watch a movie at the theater, like we do probably 3 times a year, just having something ready to go, because that's where some of my what are they called, chronic whips come in, is from, we're going to go watch a movie at the theater and it's going to be dark, and so I need something mindless to work on. Let me grab some yarn and start on a moss stitch scarf. It would be nice to already have a dedicated project to on the go, and that I'm not in a rush to finish, but it's just It's just there. It's ready. It has all the stuff in it. I can just grab the bag on the way out the door. So that is my last goal that I can think of so far for 2026. Let me know down below what some of your goals are for 2026, and maybe I'll steal them. Be inspired by. Maybe it'll inspire some of us to add other things to our goal list. And what are some lessons you learned in 2025 in your knitting, crafting adventure that you think is exciting and you want to share with us? I want to hear the fun things that you've learned. So thanks for hanging out with me. I'm excited for this journey for more handspun, more crafting, more talking to you guys. Thanks for joining me, and I guess I'll see ya.